All right, so this was a great question to have be our most missed question. This is something that's not going to be on the AP exam this year. It's something we did not have the opportunity to cover in class before we went to online learning. They are good problems, but they are tricky problems. Normally we'd spend about a week on this. I do want to give you a quick overview though, just so you can kind of see it, and if you're interested in feeling good with the other stuff, it can give you something to think about. So on this one, first thing, if you're like me, you're probably not going to have a quick mental picture of what these graphs look like. When I was in my pre-calc days, I might have been able to tell you what they were, but right now I would need to lean on the calculator, and it is a calculator exam. So I'm going to go to the calculator. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit mode, and I'm going to make sure that I move from function over polar. I'm also going to make sure that I'm in radian mode. All right, both of those things need to happen. Now, I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to type in the two functions that were given to me, 5 sine 3 theta and 8 sine 3 theta. Now, under window, all right, I would probably go a 0 to 2 pi initially. All right, I would go down here, step, I'm going to leave where it's at. I'm going to go a negative 10 to 10, and I'll leave the other one the same. Now, at this point, if I hit graph, right, I'm going to see the red curve and the blue curve show up. And this was not super telling for me when I looked at it. One thing that I find very handy with polar is if I move the cursor over to this side here, and I hit enter, all right, it's going to give me some choices. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to this next one, and I'm going to cycle through, and what I'm looking for is I call it kind of the keyhole. It's basically going to trace out the curve as I go. Now we can cycle through, there's just the dot moves, alright, there's like a dash line, a less dash line, a solid line, a bold line, and then kind of the keyhole. Alright, so I'm going to turn that on that graph, and I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to drop down to the next one, and I'm actually going to turn that one off for right now, because I want to focus in on the first one and make sure that we're only tracing it out once. We don't want to accidentally trace this out twice, or we're going to end up doubling our area. So we'll hit graph. Alright, and if you watch that closely, hopefully you noticed that the keyhole cycled around that twice. Alright, it does move very quickly, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go back to y equals, I'm going to change that 5 to a 6, then I'm going to change it back to a 5 so that we can see it graph again. Hit graph, and you'll notice that it jumped through there more than once. Alright, now if I did the same thing for the other one, and I'll go back and I'll turn that one back on, and I'm going to make this the keyhole graph as well. Alright, and I hit graph. Oops, sorry, OK, and then I hit graph. We'd have to watch pretty closely, but that dot kind of shot right through there, and we got our two loops. Now, when I start looking at this, all right, we need to find out what did we really need to have in order to get one loop. So the way that I'm going to look at that is I'm going to actually take these and I'm going to say, you know what, when does it hit the pole of the graph? So 0 equals 5 sine 3 theta. That means sine of 3 theta equals 0, which means that 3 theta would equal, sine is 0 at 0, it's 0 at pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, and we could keep going. Alright, and I'm going to divide through by the 3, so I get theta values of 0, pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, and 4 pi over 3. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kind of think about how this would graph out. And I'd get the exact same solutions on the other function, so we can just deal with one of these, and we should be okay. Alright, so if I graph, alright, these kind of had 3 leaves on them. Alright, so I'm going to start here. I've got a pole at 0, so I start there. I graph out a loop, takes me back to here. Alright, that's going to be at my pi over 3. Right, then from there it loops down below and comes back up. So it hits 0 at the 2 pi over 3, but I have one more leaf to do. So I'm going to come out here, and that's going to come back and hit at my 3 pi over 3, or pi. So what I need to do is I need to look at this from 0 to pi. Alright, so if I go back to my calculator, I can confirm this by going to Window, and down here in the second one, if I put a pi in there, alright, and then I hit Graph, you'll notice we still get the full circle, but this time that little dot only traces it once. Alright, so that gives me kind of the section I'm looking at as I go through. So if I'm setting this up, I'm going to do my integral from 0 to pi. Alright, and then what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to find the gap between these two functions. Alright, but before I do that, I need to find out kind of how to deal with the area in polar. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in on this one little leaf really close. Alright, and I'm going to switch colors here. And what we're looking at when we deal with polar is we're going to look at little teeny wedges that look like this. Right, because they behave a lot like a sector of a circle. And the smaller I make the theta, the center angle, the more and more like a sector that becomes. So as I start going through, the sector of a circle is 1/2 r squared theta. Right, but we're going to look at taking this theta and start making it smaller and smaller and smaller. So I really get 1/2 r squared d theta. Alright, now that is actually the basis for the integral formula. For the area formula for polar. So in here, I'm going to have a 1/2 r squared d theta. Alright, and that would be for one of the two leaves. Alright, so I want that to be the outer leaf. Now I have the calculator available, so I'm going to jump back to that. I'm going to go to my y equals. Red was the outer one, so red is the 8 sine 3 theta. Alright, and I could have figured that out by kind of just looking at the number situation, but this makes it a little easier, so sine 3 theta. Alright, so that's the area that's going to be enclosed by the outer function. Now from that, I'm going to want to subtract off the area of the inner one. So I still have 1/2 r squared, alright, d theta. This time my r is 5 sine 3 theta. Alright, now I could have done that as one integral if I wanted to. So now we're going to go to our calculator and we're going to get that information in there. So I'm just going to go to my home screen. Alright, and I have, I'm going to look at y equals, so this was my r2 and that one's my r1. So we'll quit out, we're going to hit math, we're going to choose integral, which is 9. Alright, we're going to start at 0. We're going to go to pi. Alright, then inside, we're going to have 1/2, so 0.5 times, alright, r2. So I'm going to choose alpha trace, and I'm going to choose number 2. Alright, quantity squared, so I'm going to raise that to the second. Alright, and then I'm going to go out here to the end, and that's going to get, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and put everything in one here just to speed it up on entry a little bit. So for this next one, I'm going to put 0.5 quantity alpha trace number 1, which is going to be our first function, quantity squared. And at the end, we're going to go ahead and toss in a d theta. Alright, so I'm going to hit theta at the end. So what this should do is it should find the area of the outer object minus the area of the inner object. To hit enter. It's going to take a second to think. And we get 30.631. Alright, which is choice C. So I would go with that answer. Now, you're going to notice how they give you double that area right there. Right there is the distractor that's basically having you go from 0 to 2 pi instead of 0 to pi. On A and B, one of those is going to be if you just use our standard area rules from a rectangular system, which won't work for this. Alright, whenever we're taking an integral in polar and we're trying to find the area, we have to think 1/2 r squared d theta, and r is going to be whatever the function is that we're working with. Alright, and again, that's because on polar we're looking at sectors of circles rather than the rectangles that we'd look at on a rectangular system. So that's a good question. Again, not something that, like, without a good week of coverage would be really hard for us to master. But I did want to put an explanation out there for you just in case you were curious. Alright, hope you enjoyed.